Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hebrew Canaanite channel. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the. Okay, so now I know that the sound is good because it was on my phone. And I want to start off by saying that I haven't been very active on this channel and on my various social media lately. And I want to apologize for that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe just explain or try to explain because, quite frankly, I don't know exactly what happened. Every single day I was like, yeah, I need to say something, I need to do something, I need to post something. And I got messages from people saying, how are you doing? Are you okay? We haven't heard from you in a while. And I didn't even answer those messages. So I apologize to those people whose messages I did not answer. It's hard to explain. I think I was experiencing the thing called burnout, but that's just a word. What does it mean? It means that I was feeling depressed. It means that I was feeling desperate. It means that I was feeling tired and exhausted and low. It's hard. It's hard to continue because, on a very personal level, I, together with everyone else living in this place called Israel, we experienced rockets being fired at us from Iran for about 2 weeks. And this was scary and this was difficult. And I think part of me needed to recover from this very it's a traumatic experience. It's a traumatic experience to hear rockets exploding very near to you and to have for a few moments this weird feeling, is this it? Am I going to die? And now I have to say, this is 0.000000001% of what the people in Gaza have been feeling every single day for the last over 600 days, 20 months, almost 2 years. And this is also difficult to every day go online and hear about, I don't know, dozens of people, sometimes hundreds of people who were murdered in Gaza every single day, every single day, every single day. Like, I can't, like, if 50 or 100 people were murdered in a single day in Israel, Israelis would be appalled. They would say, this is a mega terrorist attack. This demands an immediate response. We need to kill thousands. This is what they would say, immediately. But this is something that's been happening every single day in Gaza in the last few weeks. I mean, every single day in Gaza in the past 20 months, people were murdered. But in the last few weeks, the numbers are higher than before. The genocide has ramped up. And the way that people are being murdered in Gaza is also even more atrocious than before, if that is even possible. And it is possible. They show us that it's possible. They keep ramping up the level of atrocities, because what they've been doing in Gaza lately is that they've been murdering people who are coming to the aid centers. So they starve people, they deny people food and basic necessities, And then when people hear that there are places that they can get those basic necessities, they go there in the masses. And because there is not enough food being handed out there, this creates chaos. And then Israeli soldiers, maybe because they don't care, maybe because they want to do it, some of them want to do it, maybe some of them just because it's like, oh, it's a mess, and there's a lot of commotion going on, and this is problematic, and our job is to police, the area, so we need to shoot warning shots. Some of them may think that this is like a good thing to do because it's their responsibility to take care of order there. Maybe that's the story that they tell themselves. Maybe some of them. And they shoot people and they kill dozens of people every single day in Gaza. Murder dozens of people every single day in Gaza. So I keep hearing about this, and it's just I don't know. Like emotionally, I cannot. I don't know how to react anymore. I don't know what to do anymore. To be honest, I just ignore it. I just ignore what I hear. Because what can I be angry all the time? Can I be sad all the time? Can I be depressed all the time? No, it's impossible. It's just physically impossible to feel these feelings all the time. But these are the correct feelings when I think about what's going on in Gaza. Maybe I should feel shame all the time. I don't know. But to be honest, I don't feel anything anymore. Most of the time, I don't feel anything anymore. Because you just have to close your feelings. Because it's like impossible to continue. This is similar to what I had to do when I became aware of the atrocities of the non-human animal Holocaust around 15 years ago. Have you heard from Muhammad? Yes, I heard a few times from him. I think he's okay. I didn't talk to him in the last few days. Maybe I should send him a message. Yes, I will send him a message after I finish this live session. So as I said, it's very similar to the kind of thing that happened to me after I became aware of the non-human animal Holocaust around 15 years ago. Like, it happens all the time, and the number of victims is countless in the billions, tens of billions every single year. And you just have to close your heart, close your mind to this, because otherwise you would go insane. How is Tamar coping? Tamar is my girlfriend. Same. It's difficult for her as well. And yes, we live in a world where horrible atrocities are being committed every single day, all the time, every single second. And this means that to have an open heart and an open mind is dangerous, is horrible, is impossible. News from Elik. Elik is generally okay. Actually, he had a small accident yesterday. I don't know if he wants me to tell about this, so I won't give any details, but he's okay. He told me, and I got like nervous about it, but he's okay. He had a small shock, but he's okay. But I won't say anything else about it because I don't know if he wants me to reveal too much. Maybe he will tell about it at some point in the near future. But yeah, he's feeling similar feelings to what I'm feeling. It's like, what are you even going to do? So yeah, I was experiencing burnout. I was experiencing like I was, waking up in the morning, and I was like, what am I going to do? Nothing. I'll just put on like YouTube videos about silly subjects, listen to YouTube videos, I don't know, have some food, have something to drink, go back to watching YouTube videos, spend time with Tamar. This is the good part. Any changes to the population views? Nope. Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I will do an episode about this, or dedicate like part of a live session to this question about the views in Israeli society, because there are some changes. There are some changes, but I don't know what they mean. I mean, it has become more popular to say that this is a genocide. It has become more mainstream to say that this needs to stop. But as you see, it's not really changing anything. And I think there are deep reasons for this, but maybe this is a different subject. I'm going to paint my suffering. It seems like a good idea to channel these emotions. Be well. Thank you. So let's speak about. Okay, so I will just finish this subject. So in the last 2-3 days, I don't know. I feel like I've been waking up again, like something is opening up again, and this is the reason why I wanted to go live again and speak about what's going on. And before we begin, I want to say that I have plans. I have plans for some stuff that I want to do in this channel. So the main thing that I want to talk about right now is that Tamar and I want to start a new series. We mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. Tamar and I want to build total liberation. This will be all the atrocities around us. We see all the violence around us. We see all the oppression around us. We see everything that's wrong with the world around us. And the main thing that I want to think about is how to make the situation better. And in my just over 38 years of life, I thought of all kinds of things that we could do to make things better. But nothing seems to change. Nothing seems to work. And in my opinion, the only thing that can actually help the world become a better place in every single way, and in any single way, is if we all understand that we must oppose all oppression, and in a radical way. This is, I think, that the only way forward, the only way to make things better, is to convince as many people as possible to become as radical as possible, and not just about one thing, but about oppression in general, about violence in general, about supremacy and hierarchies in general, about separation in general. I think that one of the main problems that we have is that we keep focusing on one issue at a time, and you cannot solve one issue. Not really. It makes things become worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And this is why I want to go directly to the source of everything, This is why Tamar and I want to speak about total liberation. This is the only political position that I believe can truly bring real change to this world and truly stop all the violence that we see around us. Because all the systems of oppression are interlinked and interlaced: capitalism, patriarchy, racism, states, human supremacy, colonialism, imperialism, human colonialism, Western colonialism. All these systems of oppression are linked in ways that make it impossible to fight only one of them at a time. I think what we need is a core of people. How many people? I don't know. It's a question. Let's say 1 million people. I don't think we need 1 billion people. I think we need 1 million people, maybe 10 million people, who are truly radical and truly against all oppression, without any asterisks, without any excuses, without any gaps. If we have this, I think we can do meaningful change. We can make meaningful change. If we don't have this, I think we can't change anything. Okay, so this is one reason why I think this is the most important thing to talk about in our current time. Maybe at all, maybe in general. This is the most important thing to talk about. And Tamar and I want to talk about it heavily because this is what we talk about in our private lives. Like, this is the main subject that we talk about because we really care. We really care and we really want to make a positive change in the world. So we will start a new series called Total Liberation. And I don't want to commit yet because we're still talking about this, but I think that the first episode will be a live session this Friday afternoon, Palestine time. So there will be an official announcement about this. But stay tuned. Stay tuned. Because this, I think that this can be really meaningful and really important. Okay, so let's talk about specific stuff that's been going on in Palestine. The first thing that I want to talk about is something that happened today. So there is an Israeli journalist. His name is Israel Frey. And he is an ultra-Orthodox man. And I don't know if he would define himself as anti-Zionist or pro-Palestinian. Probably he will say that he's pro-Palestine, but I don't know if he would say that he is anti-Zionist. But he is certainly a very important and critical voice against the crimes of Zionism in the last few years. He is, in the 0.01% of people who's in Jewish Israeli population whose opinions are closest to mine. Okay, it doesn't mean that I agree with him about everything. I think he still has like remnants of connection to the Zionist cult and the Zionist ideology, and it's just really difficult to clean these things from your mind, heart, body, soul completely. It's really difficult. Probably I have remnants as well, but with him I like feel it. But that doesn't matter because he is an important voice. And he does speak out for Palestine and against the crimes of Zionism every single day. He has a very large following here in Israel. Maybe some of you know him as well for the things that he's been saying and writing. And today he was arrested. He was arrested today. And why was he arrested? Because of a tweet. There is no freedom of expression in Israel. There is no freedom of expression under the Zionist regime. Zionism is a form of fascism, and fascists love to silence their opponents, and this means that there is no freedom of expression in Israel. And specifically, Israel Frei published a tweet and was arrested. And he is now investigated for, I don't know, incitement, support of terror, I don't know, whatever. I will read you the tweet. The tweet was in Hebrew, but I will read to you the tweet. I will translate it. I have it open here. Okay. A few days ago, 5 soldiers in the Zionist army, the army called the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, inaccurately called the IDF. Let's just say that. So 5 soldiers were killed in Gaza. They were in Gaza. They were in the process of committing the genocide against the Palestinians that has been going on for over 20 months now. And they were killed by fighters in Hamas, probably. I don't know exactly what happened. And he wrote the following: "The world is a better place this morning without 5 young people who participated in one of the most heinous crimes against humanity. Regrettably, for the child in Gaza who is now going through surgery without anesthesia, the young girl who is starving, and the family who is in their tent, scared shitless under bombings, it is not enough." This is what he said. Israel Frei is so based, I love him. Yes, okay. Yeah. So at least one of my subscribers knows Israel Frei. So this is what he wrote, okay? And for obvious reasons, I will not tell you what I think about what he wrote. Obvious reasons, right? He was arrested the very next day. He wrote this tweet yesterday, and he was arrested today for expressing an opinion. You may think, some people, you won't. Some people may think that this opinion is vile. Some may think that this opinion is wrong, that this opinion is disgusting, that this opinion is horrible. They may think that. But the fact is that he expressed this opinion, and the very next day he was arrested. And now he is being investigated. I don't know what will happen to him. He might be charged with, support of terrorism, incitement to violence, blah, 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 blah. So again, this means that there is no freedom of speech, freedom of expression in Israel under the fascist Zionist regime. And some opinions cannot be expressed. I remind you, or maybe I will tell you what I know, that for as long as I have been politically aware, ever since I was a teenager, we're talking about over 20 years now, I've been hearing people every single day expressing in the most direct of ways that they want to kill Palestinians and that it's good to kill Palestinians. I don't think there was a single day that I didn't hear or see on social media Israelis saying that it's good to kill Palestinians and that they want to kill Palestinians, or being happy about Palestinians who died, or being happy about Palestinians who were murdered. This is a very, 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 very mainstream opinion within Jewish Israeli society that it's good that Palestinians die. There's even an expression, a very funny expression in Hebrew. The expression goes, Aravi tov ze Aravi met. I actually talked about it in one of the podcast episodes with Elik. I said the following. If you say to a Jewish Israeli person, Aravi tov, I didn't translate. Aravi tov means good Arab. Aravi met means dead Arab. So Aravi tov ze Aravi met means a good Arab is a dead Arab. If you talk to any Jewish Israeli person, including me, and you tell them Aravi tov, the first thing that will pop up in their minds automatically, involuntarily, instinctively, physically, it's just a physical process at this point. The very first thing that will pop into their mind is Aravi met. Aravi tov ze Aravi met. The natural continuation of Aravi tov is Aravi met in Hebrew. A good Arab is a dead Arab. A good Arab is a dead Arab. This is, if you say a good Arab, if you say the words good Arab to a Jewish Israeli person, in their minds will pop up the words is a dead Arab. Instinctively. Also in my brain. And my point is that saying that it's good to kill Palestinians is one of the most mainstream things in Jewish Israeli society. No one is ever arrested. No one ever is arrested for supporting the murder of Palestinians. No one is ever arrested for it. No matter if they're Hamas terrorists, no matter if they're innocent civilians, it doesn't matter. You can say very, very freely that you want Palestinians to die, and not only will you not be arrested, not only will you not be harassed, but you will actually be celebrated. And this will be encouraged by the vast majority of Israeli society. And of course, these are not just words. They also lead to actions. And we know that in the last 20 plus months, over 60,000, in my opinion, anywhere between 100,000 and maybe 300,000, maybe even more than 300,000 Palestinians were murdered by Israelis. So it's not just words, it's actions too. But no one is arrested for that. But when Israel Frey says that 5 soldiers who were inside Gaza and wanted to kill Palestinians and were in the process of killing Palestinians, and then Hamas people killed them instead, he said that he thought that the world is a better place because of this, and he was immediately arrested. Okay. And I will not say my opinion about what he said. So this happened, and I will keep you updated about what happens with Frey in the future, because I think that this is an important thing. This actually connects, I didn't plan to talk about it, but this actually connects with another thing that is happening in the last week or two, And this is the story of Iman Ode. Iman Ode is the head of the Hadash party. The Hadash party is an Israeli political party. It is a communist. I don't really believe that they're communist, but never mind. A communist party, and it's joint Jewish, Palestinian, Israeli political party. Okay, and he is the head of this party. And when the last hostage deal happened, and a few dozen Israeli hostages were released from captivity in Gaza, some of them alive, some of them dead, just their bodies were brought back to Israel. And in return, a few hundreds, I think, or maybe a couple of thousand of Palestinian hostages, prisoners, who were in administrative arrest. So hostages, Palestinian hostages taken by the Zionist regime, were released in return. Iman Ode said that he was happy about this hostage deal, that he was happy that Israeli hostages were being released, and that also he was happy that Palestinian prisoners were being released. And the second part, the Zionists did not like at all. They didn't like it at all. And in the last couple of weeks, they've been talking about removing Ayman Odeh from the Israeli parliament. Again, just so it's clear, this is a member of the Israeli parliament, a member of the Knesset, the Israeli parliament, who was elected in democratic elections. He is the head of one of the parties in the Israeli parliament. He is Palestinian, okay? He's Palestinian, just so it's clear. He's Palestinian, Ayman Odeh, he's Palestinian. Palestinian with an Israeli citizenship, a 48 Palestinian, what's called the 48 Palestinian. And he is being removed, he is in the process of being removed from the Israeli parliament just because he said that he is happy about a deal that was approved and conducted by the Israeli government. He said he was happy about it, and the Zionists are not happy that he was happy about it, because he should have been sad and angry, or at least he should have kept his mouth shut about the part where Palestinian prisoners are being released. And this is not just the extreme right wing that is doing this, because also people like Yair Lapid and Benny Gantz, who are the leaders of the biggest opposition parties, it's just ridiculous. There's no opposition in the Zionist parliament. They're all Zionists. They're all the same. So Yair Lapid and Benny Gantz, the so-called center-left, ridiculous, they also voted to expel him, to remove him from the Israeli parliament. The vast majority of Jewish Israeli society is extremely racist against Palestinians. The vast majority of Jewish Israeli society would much rather all Palestinians to disappear, or at least go away somewhere else. Just a true statement. And yeah, heavy on the air quotes. Yeah, it's I think a good way to know how fascist the regime you live in is to see how many of the words that you use, you have to use them with air quotes. Like, the more air quotes, the more fascism. This is a very good parameter, indicator of fascism, that you have to use air quotes about everything. Because fascism loves to play with language, loves to distort language, and loves to invert language. This is one of the main tools of fascism: to control language, to twist language, to distort language, and to invert language. Because language is thought. And if you want to enact fascism, you have to control the minds of people. You have to have subjects that will carry out the orders, and that will, that will serve the interests of the fascist regime. So you have to lie a lot. And these lies, one of the most effective techniques is to distort language. Okay. So this is one subject. Another subject that I want to speak about is Israel Katz, who is the Minister of Defense, again with the air quotes, the Minister of Defense in the Israeli government. So the Minister of War, basically. The Minister of Genocide is maybe the most accurate term. The Minister of Genocide in the Israeli government, in the Zionist regime. So he announced a new plan to construct or to designate or to initiate, what do they call it? A humanitarian city. Okay, so here we need like I don't know how many air quotes. Humanitarian city in Rafah. I saw a few posts on Facebook where people took the famous photo from the gate of Auschwitz, of the Auschwitz extermination camp that was in Poland during the Second World War, which was the most central hub of extermination of Jews by the Nazis. So maybe some of you know that on the gate of Auschwitz there was an inscription, and the inscription was Arbeit macht frei. And I don't know much German, but I know what this means, and every Israeli, Jewish Israeli knows what this means. It means work liberates. Arbeit macht frei. And of course, this is the most extreme examples, extreme cases of cynicism, of distortion of language and thought by the heavily fascist Nazi regime at the time. This was not. I don't even need to explain, right? So they took this picture and they changed the inscription on the gate. Instead of Arbeit macht frei, work liberates, they changed it to humanitarian city. And yes, this is my opinion about this. It is very similar to the the humanitarian aid centers. They're not humanitarian aid centers. They're traps meant to attract starving people so that you can kill them. This humanitarian city is an extermination camp. This is what it will be. It will be a concentration camp within a concentration camp, and it will definitely become an extermination camp. This is what it will be. And I don't know how many thoughts I have about this. Okay, so the first thought that I have is people say that that this will be a concentration camp, and I say no, because Gaza, the Gaza Strip, is already a concentration camp. already. It's been a concentration camp for decades now. This is a concentration camp within a concentration camp. This is, the inception of concentration camps. So this is one thought that I have. Another thought that I have is I want to tell you that 10, 15 years ago, I was already saying, because I knew how Israeli Jews, how Zionists think about Palestinians. I knew how they talk about Palestinians. I felt the extreme racism. I felt the fascism around me already 10, 15, 20 years ago. And I said, pretty soon there will be extermination camps here for Palestinians. And at the time, of course, everyone told me, you are exaggerating, you are a lunatic, you're just completely disconnected from reality, this is bullshit, blah, 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 blah. This is what they told me. And it took a little bit longer than I thought. Yes, it took like 20 years. But here it is. Even now, when you say this is going to be a concentration camp, this is going to be an extermination camp, the vast majority of Jewish Israelis would tell you, no, you're speaking nonsense, it's an exaggeration, blah, 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 blah. This is what Zionists do. They do the atrocities, and then when you say this is an atrocity, they say, no, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. It's like the two faces of Zionism. On October 7th, I already said there is going to be a genocide. And people told me, you're crazy. During October of 2023, I already said this is a genocide. And people told me, you're crazy. I already said, then I said, definitely in the next couple of years, there will be extermination camps. They said, you're crazy. But all of this is happening. It takes time, but it's happening. The Palestinian genocide, the genocide of the Palestinians by Zionism is slower. It's slower. The genocide of Jews by the Nazi regime. Okay, it's slower. And maybe it's slightly different in all kinds of aspects. But the core thing is the same. The core, the thing that is happening is the same. And the technology, it's a weird, I don't know, maybe it's a weird context to use the word technology, but this is what it is. The technology that they are using to do it is similar. Extermination camps worked for the Nazis for a reason. And it will also work for the Zionists for a reason. And this is why they will use it. This time I'll get arrested in Germany. You see? Ridiculous this is. How ridiculous this is. My grandfather's entire family was murdered by Germans in Poland. The Germans did that. The Nazis did that. And the Germans collaborated or were silent. They didn't resist. Like here, like the Zionists are not resisting. Most of them are collaborating. Some of them are keeping silent. And almost none of them are resisting. This is the exact same thing that happened in Nazi Germany. So the Germans, they murder my grandfather's entire family. They make him escape to Palestine. They drive him into the Zionist cult. They turn him into a Zionist. They steal his soul away as well. Because I had a lot of arguments with my grandfather about, his racism against Palestinians. This is the way that I thought about it. He passed away a few years ago, and he wasn't aware he had like an episode like a few years before he died. So I didn't talk to him. The last time that I had a true conversation with him was maybe 10, 15 years ago. Okay. So I didn't understand Zionism at the time, but I knew that he was racist against Palestinians. And I had a lot of arguments about it. And this is something that the Germans did to him. And now the Germans are doing another genocide. They're, completely complicit in the genocide of the Palestinians committed by the Zionists, but supported financially, militarily, diplomatically, politically by the Germans. And now, because I say they're going to attack me, if we're in Germany, they would arrest me. Like you said, they would arrest me for comparing, I'm the fucking victim here of you. You were the perpetrators. My grandfather was the victim. I'm still carrying intergenerational trauma from this. And now they want to arrest me for comparing. Ridiculous. The world is ridiculous. The world is preposterous. Seriously, if I made a YouTube video like this saying these things, it could be very legally problematic. I know. The German regime is still a Nazi regime. Nazism did not stop in Germany. So, they're starting extermination camps, like I predicted 20 years ago, like I knew would happen 20 years ago. And they said that I was crazy, and they still say that I'm crazy, but it's happening. It's happening. Do Finkelstein, Miko Peled, Max Blumenthal, Ilan Pape, or Shlomo Zand appear on Israel television to give a different version of events? I'm sorry for laughing. I mean no disrespect. From what you see on Israeli television. No. What's being expressed on Israeli television is only opinion. Like the argument that is being performed on Israeli television is should we kill Palestinians or some Palestinians? Maybe it's wrong to kill Palestinians because it makes us look bad. This is like the most extreme leftist opinion that can be expressed on extreme television, is that what we're doing in Gaza is bad because it makes us bad. This is the most extreme. And if you say this, you are a leftist, leftist traitor. Okay. Let's talk about violence by Hamas on 7th and after October 7th. And of course, Israeli media was like, yes, this report proves that systematic sexual violence was committed on October 7th, blah, 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 blah. Maybe I will find the Ynet report about this. Ynet is the most one of the most mainstream news websites in Israel. Let me see. Doch Project. Dinah, I'm gonna. Okay, here is the report. This is from 1 day ago, and it goes like this. Let me share the screen so I can read to you this the article on Ynet. Okay, here it is. So this is in here. And it was in Hebrew, but I translated it using Google, okay? And it says, isolated atrocities, but tactical weapon. The full report on Hamas's sex crimes. Difficult reading. Difficult reading. They do a trigger warning because they're so trigger warning. The most of Hamas's sexual violence on the 7th of October and later against the hostages in captivity has been condensed into a comprehensive 84-page report. We will talk about these 84 pages. Centered on one conclusion. Oh, the translation is difficult because it's like so ridiculous. The language is so ridiculous. Let me see, how do I translate it back to Hebrew? How do I do it? Yeah. So for it was all planned and intentional. Warning. Difficult reading. The testimonies are descriptions of gang rape, murders, genital mutilations of victims, sexually harassed boys, cases of rape in captivity. Sounds horrible, right? Sounds horrible. Sounds really, really bad. Because when I read this, I was like, I don't know. I checked this out. I looked very deeply into the testimonies and the evidence regarding sexual violence by Hamas on October 7th, and I personally found no credible evidence for anything. In my personal opinion, I don't know exactly. I know 0 women were raped on October 7th. 0. This is the evidence that I saw points to. And this is something that I had a lot of trouble. I didn't really want to think about it before. Because I happen to be a man. And when you, as a man, talk about the subject of rape of women, it's very problematic in this time. I consider myself a feminist. I consider myself an ally of women. I'm against sexual violence. I'm against rape. Of course, obviously. I'm against sexual harassment. I'm against sexism. I'm against all oppression. So I'm against the patriarchy. I'm against subjugation of women. I'm against women being inferior to men. I'm against women being discriminated against. I'm against all of it. And as a man saying that you do not believe rape allegations, this is something really dangerous to say. But I have no choice anymore. Why? Because this kind of attitude, where it's not allowed for a man to say that rape allegations are not true, because otherwise, you're not a feminist, you're not an ally of women, this is being weaponized by Zionism. And it's being weaponized by Zionism to justify genocide. And this has been happening ever since October 7th. That very day already, they started saying rape on October 7th, and they started to justify the atrocities that have been happening ever since in Gaza and the genocide that has been happening ever since in Gaza. And I do not want to participate with it anymore. I do not want to be silent against it anymore. And they use it actively. Whenever I had a conversation with a friend, a female friend of mine, a few days ago, and we talked about Zionism and how Zionism is crazy, and how the genocide is crazy, and she is still a Zionist, okay? And she said to me, but Hamas raped women on October 7th. And I told her, no, these are lies. This is not true. And her very first reaction was, listen, as a woman, it's really difficult for me to hear a man denying rape allegations because I am the victim of sexual harassment and sexual assault. I don't remember if she said sexual harassment or sexual assault. She definitely said sexual harassment. So don't do this, don't deny. And it was very difficult for me to go, yeah, I understand, but this is a lie. I'm sorry, but this is a lie. So this is a lie. Here I am saying publicly, the allegations against Hamas of rape on October 7th are, as far as I can tell, and I tried my best to investigate this as deeply as I could. I did not see even one piece of credible evidence that points to a case of rape committed by Hamas. Even though I must say this, because if I don't say this, I cooperate with justification of genocide. Because this is being used to justify genocide. I will not be sent. And what I want to do is show you a few parts of the report and show you how much it is complete and utter bullshit. And if this report is the best proof that you have for rape on October 7th, then this is evidence that there was no rape on October 7th. You tried your best and you found zero credible evidence. Let's see. So I will share the screen and let's look at the PDF document, the report. Here it is. It's in English, so no problem. Here I don't even have to translate. Oh, sorry, this is the... hold on. Yeah, this one. Zionist, this is what it is. Yeah, this is what it is. Zionist Asbar. Starts with this. Not an actual picture, but a drawing. There is no reason to believe that this scene actually occurred. Your connection is not good. Your connection is not good. Let me check this. Is it still problematic? Because I don't know. I don't see a problem. Here on my end. If yes, connection problems. Is it still happening? Are there still connection problems, or what's going on? Please tell me. Okay, I will continue. If there are still problems, please tell me. Chat. So, as we see, the report starts image that is not an actual of reality. It's not an actual picture, but it's a drawing. There is no reason to believe that this scene actually occurred in actual reality. But they put it there. Why did they put it there? Because they want to create a certain emotional effect. Let's continue. A quest for justice. A quest for justice. That's all they care about. Justice. They care about justice. A quest for justice, October 7th and beyond. I think it's really interesting to consider this word beyond. Why did they put this word beyond there? And we will see that the reason that this word beyond is there is because they couldn't find enough evidence for stuff that actually happened on October 7th, like they repeatedly said. So they had to add beyond so that they can bunch up the evidence for supposed sexual violence on October 7th with evidence for supposed sexual violence afterwards in captivity. Even though the original claim, was about sexual violence in October 7th. And this is the first trick that we see already. And everything in this document is a rhetorical trick. Every single thing written in this document is a rhetorical trick. You will see. I cannot go over the entire document. It's 84 pages. And a good question is, why is it 84 pages long? I will only go through parts of it. But to be honest, there's no reason to go over 84 pages of this because it's you will see. You will see. It's very repetitive. October 7th and beyond. The Dinah Project, and we will talk about the story of Dinah right after we go over some parts of this document. This book is dedicated to the victims of sexual violence on October 7th and to all those everywhere who have suffered such crimes. Wow. Wow. Amazing. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so these are the people. As you can see, this is an Israeli name. She is an Israeli feminist activist. She cares about women. She cares about women's rights. But to be honest, I think she cares about white women's rights. I don't think she cares. I think she cares about women's rights only when it's the right women. Only when it's white women or Jewish women, Western women. I don't think she cares about Palestinian women's rights. As you can see, all the authors have Israeli names. These are Israeli names. I don't know who she is, but all of these are Israeli names. Okay. So let's read the first few paragraphs, and then we will go to like the central part of it, because I will go over it the same way with you, the same kind of way that I went over it to begin with, because I was like, I'm not going to read 84 pages. I want to get to the point. Blah blah blah. Okay. The Dinah Project, headed by a team of leading legal and gender experts, was established in response to the Hamas terror attack on Israel of October 7, 2023, through the multidisciplinary knowledge and skills of its members. We will see what kind of skills they bring. The Dinah Project has become the leading resource for recognition and justice for the victims of conflict-related sexual violence, CRSV. This is an expression that will appear a lot, on October 7th and subsequently, operating under the auspices of the blah 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 Bar-Ilan University. Bar-Ilan University is an extreme Zionist organization. They are a right-wing university. They're not even liberal Zionists. Okay, they're not even liberal Zionists, they're right-wing Zionists. Bar-Ilan University, the project aims to reshape the discourse on CRSV. We will see reshape how. It's a good question to ask. How do they want to reshape it? By taking October 7th as a catalyst to develop groundbreaking tools and strategies that combat denialism and ensure accountability in CRSV cases worldwide. What kind of groundbreaking tools are they presenting here? We will soon find out. Contents. Okay, so when I read the contents, the most interesting things to me were methodology, the subject of methodology, and the evidentiary framework. Okay? The evidentiary framework. Why? Because in methodology, I am a former academic. I was in math. I was an academic in the subject of math for many, many years. I finished a master's degree in math from Tel Aviv University, and I was in the process of obtaining a PhD in math from the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. I did not finish my PhD, but I have a lot of experience in reading academic articles. I also spent a lot of my free time reading scientific articles in all kinds of subjects. So the skill that I have is cutting to the chase, okay, knowing where the most important thing is, and the most important thing is the methodology and the evidentiary framework, and these are the two things that we will focus on. The rest is fluff, okay? But as we will see, these things are fluff as well, okay? So let's go to methodology, and afterwards we will go to the evidentiary framework. Why? Because inside this chapter of evidentiary framework, what I thought in my naivety was that they will bring the actual evidence, okay? So we will see. This is where I wanted to go first and foremost, to see what is the actual evidence that they bring. Okay. Methodology. So page 22, let's go to methodology. Methodology. Oh, they put a lot of pictures in this document, a lot of pictures from screams before silence. This is, I think, a documentary about the sexual violence of October 7th, a very shocking documentary. And they bring pictures that prove that sexual violence did occur on October 7th, was committed by Hamas on October 7th. And this is one of those images. As you can see, it's an image of flags in a field. And what is better proof of rape than an image of flags in a field? Shocking. I know. Jarring. Introduction, blah, blah, blah. Our work is based on a simple yet powerful premise. Justice can and must be achieved, whether through criminal prosecutions, civil proceedings, or international tribunals. Let's talk about that first. Let's assume that every single Hamas fighter who participated in the October 7th attack raped at least one Israeli woman. Let's assume this. You killed most of them on October 7th, or at the very latest on October 8th. Most of them are already dead. They're already dead. They were killed because the Israeli army came and killed them. No trial, nothing. If they were indeed rapists, they were already handed out the death sentence. The death sentence was carried out on October 7th. Okay? So what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you even talking about? Okay? Those who escaped back to the Gaza Strip with the hostages. Okay? Those who escaped back to the Gaza Strip with the hostages. Many of them already killed in the last 20 months after October 7th by the Israeli army. This you do not deny. Maybe you deny that you intentionally kill civilians. Zionists deny that they intentionally kill civilians. But they do not deny that they intentionally kill fighters of Hamas. If anyone is associated in Gaza, is associated with Hamas, they proudly say, we want to kill them, and they do. So the ones that you didn't get on October 7th or October 8th, when they were still inside 48 lines inside Israel, that you didn't execute then, most of them you executed since then. And those that you didn't execute, well, it's just because you didn't succeed. It's not because you haven't issued the death sentence yet. You already issued a death sentence for anyone who is associated with Hamas. It's not an extreme claim to say that you issued a death sentence to all people living in Gaza. Okay, this is the Minister of Defense, the Minister of Genocide of the Israeli government on October 7th said none of them are innocent. The President of Israel said none of them are innocent. And this is the kind of rhetoric that you use to justify the genocide, to justify how whenever you kill anyone in Gaza, it's okay, in your opinion. So you already issued a death sentence to anyone who is associated with Hamas. No trial, no due process, nothing. The death sentence was automatic. What is worse than a death sentence? This is the worst sentence that you can give in criminal law, right? So what the fuck are you talking about? What justice are you pursuing? You already gave out a death sentence on October 7th. What else do you want? What else do you want? What is the goal of this fucking thing? So, of course, the goal of this thing is not what is stated here. The goal of this document is propaganda. This document, okay. So the target audience of this document is first and foremost Israelis, Jewish Israelis, and Jews all over the world, and people who are susceptible to Zionist propaganda. The goal of this document is to continue talking about what happened on October 7th in a way that is appalled and shocked, okay, to justify the ongoing genocide. It's propaganda to justify genocide. This is all it is. They don't care about justice. They care about justifying genocide. Let's go to the methodology, page 22. Let's go there. So you see the graphic design is impeccable. Page 22, methodology. Since October 7th, a large volume of documentation has emerged. Okay, documentation of what? I don't know, but we will see. Including social media posts, personal stories, traditional media interviews, testimonial recordings, and more. This body of evidence continues to grow as new details are reported. We have reviewed all of these sources, traced their origins, cross-checked data. Amazing work, very professional work, very meticulous work, right? And assessed reliability. We have examined online databases, reviewed blah, 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 blah. We did all kinds of stuff. We're amazing. And we have collaborated with blah, blah, blah to identify relevant testimonies. Blah, 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 blah. We are amazing. We are good researchers. We care about the truth. This is what they're saying. In all cases, and especially in these conversations, we were careful to respect each person's choice and privacy to ensure informed consent and secure permission to use the details provided. Okay, I want to focus on the last sentence. Why are they saying this last sentence? Because the outward appearance of this sentence is an appearance. This sounds progressive, right? This sounds like, oh, we respect consent, we're feminists, right? We respect human dignity, blah, 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 all this bullshit, right? But no, the real reason, this is the outward appearance, and this will be a recurrent theme in the analysis of this document. What is the outward appearance and what is the actual thing going on? The actual thing going on here, as you will see, is that this is one of the main excuses that they use for their lack of evidence. This is the thing that they will use again and again and again to explain why they don't have evidence for sexual violence. Okay. Two caveats are pertinent here. We do not store blah, blah, blah. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Difficulties in documentation. Difficulties in documentation. Again, another excuse for why they don't have evidence. We cannot be sure that all the information is available at this time. Oh, lack of transparency. This is an excuse for lack of transparency. Okay. Our experience in criminal law and sexual violence cases was of particular value in our efforts to organize and analyze the data. No source was accepted at face value. We will see. Each piece of evidence was first scrutinized to assess its relevance to our subject matter and then analyzed for its content and evidentiary value. Each item was then recorded according to the following criteria: location, site of the incident, and time, number and gender of the victims, blah, 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 blah. As you will see, something that will be very characteristic of this document is that they keep saying again and again and again and again and again how meticulous they are, how professional they are, how committed to the truth they are. This is not something that is common in academic papers, okay? In actual academic research, no researcher will put in the research that they are meticulous, that they are professional. And this will just be an assumption that they are meticulous and professional. Otherwise, what are you doing in academia, right? And I think that if you see in an academic or pseudo-academic like this article, the researchers putting inside the document how professional and meticulous they are, the only conclusion that you should draw is that they are not professional, that they are not meticulous, that they are not committed to truth. Because otherwise, why would they emphasize it so much? And as you will see, this is not the first and not the last time that they put this in the document, how meticulous they are. This repeats again and again and again and again and again, this kind of language. This document is 84 pages. And I think that probably 30 or 40 of those pages are dedicated to them saying how professional and meticulous and truthful they are. Okay? A lot of the document is dedicated to this. And there is an expression in Hebrew, Al Rosh Haganav Bo'er Hakova. The hat burns on the head of the thief. Okay? And this means that if you are guilty, then you will spend a lot of time explaining why you're innocent. And I think that this expression is valid here. Let me, I will make the text bigger. I think that this will help you read, maybe even slightly bigger. Oh, no, this is bad. Go like this. How do I zoom out? Yeah, let's do this. Ta-da-da-da-da! It is crucial to accurately and definitely determine the number of sexual assault cases. They continue to say how professional they are and how make here. Another point that I want to make here. So a question in the chat, does any evidence? Spoiler alert, No. 84 pages. You would expect evidence to be contained in. The answer is no. There are meta-analysis. Is this a peer-reviewed report? No. It's just a document that they. It's not a professional document. It's propaganda. Okay. Okay. I want to emphasize this sentence. Organized and classified from an evidentiary perspective, and this is again telling, because what this document is no more than taking everything that was already known and out in the open, that was already reported in Israeli media, in US media, in media in general, already reported in articles in the New York Times and on Ynet, on Israeli media. What they do is they take the information that was already there, none of which was any claim of rape on October 7th, and they reorganize it. This is all that they do. They take the data and they go like this and this and that, and they present it in a new way that they think will be better propaganda. This is all that they do. This is not research. This is not actual academic writing. This is junk. If I saw this as if I were an actual researcher in academia and I saw something like this, I would say this is trash. This is academic trash. Okay, this is what it is. Regurgitated everything that we already saw, just regurgitated in a new way with a lot of fluff. Like I said, a lot of fluff. Let's jump ahead to the actual evidence. Okay. Blah. Oh, another picture. Look from screams to silence. Look. Do you see picture that proves rape? Do you see it? Do you see? Let's go to the actual evidence they bring. This is all bullshit. It's bullshit and bullshit and bullshit and bullshit. Okay. Blah 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 blah. Oh, another picture. You see rape here? Look at all the evidence for rape. Look, and here is the first thing that we want to say about it. Unique changes. We had a really difficult job to do. Oh, the text is unreadable and it's always buffering. The stream resolution is low. Is this something that is true for everyone? Maybe I should just switch to a different connection. Here too. Let's switch to a different connection. Maybe I should get off the internet. Yeah. Is this better now? Is it better now? Please, Ori and Tamar and anyone else, please tell me if the connection is better now. Yes. Okay, good. Seems so. Okay. So, sexual violence, a bit, but it might get worse when you scroll text. Let's hope it's okay. Sexual violence, particularly when weaponized during conflict, may present unique challenges. This is the first thing that they want to say. What do they mean? They mean, listen, all the evidence that we already saw, that was already We had such a difficult job. You have to understand, we had such a difficult job. So you have to cut us some slack. Even if you find the evidence not very convincing, because we had such a difficult job, you should consider the evidence convincing, even if you're not convinced. We don't see the document. Oh. Let me reshare the screen. I'm losing viewers by the second. Let me see. Do you see the document now? Guys, do you see the document now? Is it better now? But do you see the document? Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. This is the first time that I the screen like for such a long time. So, okay. Sexual violence, particularly when weaponized during unique challenges. So again, what is the point that we're trying to make here? Listen, the evidence is not going to be very strong, but you have to cut us some slack. You have to cut us some slack because we had such a difficult job. This is why the evidence might not be convincing. And you will see that this repeats again and again and again. Out of the 84 pages of this report, like 20 of them are dedicated to the kind of sentiment, to expressing the kind of sentiment. It's so difficult to find evidence for sexual violence. So please believe us, even though the evidence is not convincing. This is what they say again and again and again. Okay. In order to, these challenges necessitate the use of non-traditional evidentiary methods. What do they mean? They mean we have a way of examining evidence. We have to and still think of them as. This is what they mean in this sentence. In order to deal successfully with such unconventional types of information, we have designed a special platform for the organization and categorization of all available verified information from an evidentiary perspective according to its evidentiary value. Sounds professional, right? Sounds academic, right? Sounds serious, right? Sounds intelligent. Let me translate it to simpleton speak. What they're saying is, we changed the way we think about evidence so that things that are not evidence will be considered evidence. This is what they're saying. A note on terminology. Overall, when survivors' testimonies are unavailable due to the criminal acts of the perpetrators themselves, more weight should be given to res gestae and other less conventional yet admissible evidence in order to establish a factual basis. Oh, res gestae! That's an expression in Latin. Only smart and serious people use Latin. Do you know what res gestae is? Let's see. What is res gestae? Let's define res gestae. What is res gestae? This is taking way too long. So res gestae, I will open it in Google. Res gestae is things done. Things done. So what they mean is because we don't have actual evidence, you have to take things that are not really evidence, that are circumstantial, and regard them as serious evidence. This is what they're saying here. More weight should be given to res gestae and other less conventional yet admissible evidence in order to establish a factual basis. The type of evidence should be accorded more weight in these cases. Hold on. The beginning of this sentence was a note on terminology. But that's not a note about terminology. That's a note about our standard for evidence, right? The phrasings here are this is the thing. Maybe I should say something here. This is the way that Zionists lie, that Zionist intellectuals lie. They don't outright lie. They lie in the choice of phrasing. They lie in the choice of words. They lie in the way that they go round and round and round and round and round instead of just saying things as they are. Because if they said things as they are, then they would not achieve the goals, the rhetorical goals that they are seeking. So this is why they go round and round and round and round and round. This is not a note on terminology. This is something that you're saying about your standard of evidence being low, and this is an excuse that you're giving for why your standard of evidence is low. And the excuse that you're giving is that all of the victims of sexual violence in October 7th actually died, so we can't talk to them. But how do you know that they were victims of sexual violence? Oh, because of the res gestae evidence. But the res gestae evidence is not convincing. So they create this circular logic, okay? Let's continue. This type of evidence should be accorded more weight in these cases. Furthermore, situations of conflict-related sexual violence often involve distinct types of sexual violence other than rape, such as genital mutilation. As we explain later, the repeated targeting of the genitalia indicates that the tactical use of sexual violence as a weapon was very much in the terrorist's mind. Okay, so listen, guys. We don't have actual evidence for anything. And also, the indirect evidence that we have is not for actual rape. It's for other things. But because this is such a unique circumstance, you have to allow that we have evidence for other things, and we have to infer from other things that rape also happened. This is what they're saying. But what they actually don't have evidence for rape. This is what is actually being said here. Okay. We have grouped the available information into several categories. And then they have several categories, and the first category is information provided by first-hand survivors. Okay. This is the serious business, right? Information provided by first-hand survivors. This is what we're looking for. We will see what information they have provided by first-hand survivors, but they want to supplement it with other information provided by first-hand eyewitnesses and ear witnesses in real time. Hold on. Eyewitnesses or ear witnesses? Because eyewitnesses, you can still say that it's credible. But ear witnesses, what does that mean? We will see what it means. Okay, spoiler alert. It means people who heard stuff. They heard stuff. It's hearsay. This is what it is. Hearsay. Res gestae. So fancy. Accounts provided by witnesses, including returnees from captivity. Information provided by first responders. Information provided by workers at the Shura military base, which served as the morgue. Okay. So as you see, the quality of evidence goes down the more we continue. Information provided by healthcare workers and therapists. Other types of information. For example, photos and footage, like the harrowing photos that we saw before. Ear witness is hearsay, which is inadmissible in courts of law. Yes, exactly. In presenting our findings, we first report on the blah, 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 blah. This is them explaining why they organized things the way that they organized them. But in reality, they organized things in the way that they organized them to make the evidence look more than they are. It is important to note once again that some witnesses' testimony could appear in more than one category. Important to note that sometimes, because we didn't have enough evidence, we repeated evidence here and here and here and here and here to make the document long, so that when they report it on Ynet, they can say that the document is 84 pages long, and this would sound impressive. Thus, a returned hostage may describe what she herself experienced, speak about what she herself has seen, and or report on what she heard from another hostage. Each of these entries is distinct and separate account. Okay. Let's go. This is the tofu of the document. Okay, this is the center of the document, the most delicious part of the document. This is the actual information provided by first-hand survivors. We got there. Let's see what they say. We have purposefully refrained from mentioning the names of these survivors. So you give evidence, which is information provided by first-hand survivors, but you will not give their names. Convenient. Why? Let's see the explanation. Many of the returned hostages gave open media interviews, and their testimonies have thus become public knowledge. Nevertheless, since we know that this document will continue to serve as a central resource long into the future, we have chosen to maintain their anonymity. We chose to hide facts. Why? We say out of respect for the victims. What I hear is because we want to obfuscate reality. This is just a funny thing. 1A, 2B, 3C, 4D. What is this with repetition? They're such amateurs. Look at this. 1A. Decide 1 or A, 2 or B. Don't write 1A, 2B, 3C. Ridiculous. But if this were the worst part of this document, then, okay. Attempted rape. 1. Attempted rape, sexual assault. Occurred at the Nova Music Festival site on October 7th. 2B. Forced sexual act, sexual abuse, forced nudity. All were experienced while in captivity in Gaza. 3C. Forced nudity, verbal and physical sexual harassment, threats of rape, in the form of forced marriage. All were experienced during the kidnapping and while in captivity in Gaza. 4D. Verbal and physical sexual harassment, threats of rape, in the form of forced marriage. All experienced while in captivity in Gaza. Forced nudity, threats of rape, sexual humiliation, threats of rape, physical sexual assault, verbal sexual harassment, physical, blah, 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 blah. So many things. Wow. So much evidence, right? When you just read it, you go, wow, that's a lot. So horrible. But let's read it more slowly now, okay? For example, let's see. This is the summary of all the information that they have from first-hand witnesses. Say rape anywhere. It says attempted rape. It says sexual assault. Okay. It says forced sexual act. Okay. It says sexual harassment. It says threats of rape. It says threats of rape again. Does it say rape anywhere? Does it say rape anywhere? Physical sexual assault. Okay. Does it say rape anywhere? No. It doesn't. It doesn't say rape anywhere. This report, the most extensive report, the most harrowing report that the Zionist regime produced about the systematic rape committed by Hamas on October 7th as a tool of war, as a tactic, as a military tactic. They used rape as a military tactic. And here is the document that summarizes all these. And it does not say rape even once. They don't have a single piece of evidence for a single case of actual rape committed. Just a fact. Let's go more deeply. Let's see how much of this actually talks about October 7th, about things that happened on October 7th. The thing that happened on October 7th. Okay. But what about the rest? All of this experienced while in captivity. Oh, so not on October 7th. Okay. This during the kidnapping and while in captivity. Okay, during the kidnapping, maybe then on October 7th, but while in captivity, all experienced while in captivity. So not on October 7th. 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 Oh, here, 12, during the kidnapping and while in captivity. So not on October 7th. Not on October 7th. Not on October 7th. Here, during the kidnapping, maybe. And this, not on October 7th. So the vast majority of this, huge body of evidence does not even speak about what happened on October 7th. I thought that the goal of this document was to prove a systematic use as a weapon of war by Hamas on October 7th. And as you can see, most of the things presented here are not even about October 7th. And now we go back to why did they call this document about October 7th? So they had to add this and beyond October 7th. Most of this is not about October 7th. Let's look. Attempted rape, sexual assault, occurred at the Nova Music Festival site on October 7th. So this means, I read this, and what I read is, we have in this document direct evidence provided by first-hand survivors about attempted rape and sexual assault that occurred at the Nova Music Festival site on October 7th. What I did when I read this was I scrolled down to see where this actual evidence is in this document. Here is the thing. It's not in this document. It's not. The thing is not in this document. What is in this document is a footnote. Footnote 39. Right after it says occurred at the Nova Music Festival site on October 7th, there is a footnote 39. You go to footnote 39 and they say, a female survivor of the Nova Music Festival, members of the Dinah Project on May 4th, 2025. Her testimony is corroborated by D, who was part of the rescue team, and by another confidential source. Okay, but where is the testimony? You will not find it. You will not find it. It does not exist here. It does not exist anywhere. No one knows the name of this female survivor. No one knows what she says. All we have to work with is that in this document, these people are saying that they did an interview and she told them something. What? We don't know. You have to trust us. This is the only new piece of evidence that is even referenced in this document. You will not find something better in this document. The best piece of evidence is this document, is a footnote that says, we talked to a survivor of the Nova Festival, and she told that, we will not name her, and she told us something, and we will not tell you what. That's it. What else is in this document? Okay, so again, all these things that we went through, they do not appear in this document. All this evidence does not appear in this document. All that appears in this document, footnotes that you can go to. You can go to the footnotes and you can see what they mean. Okay, so here is something that happened in captivity. So again, not relevant, but let's see, 40. So footnote 40, screams before silence. Oh, so amid Susanna in her first recorded testimony, I knew the terrorist was plotting something, that something bad was about to happen. Oh, she knew that the terrorist was plotting something, that something bad was about to happen. Hold on. Did something bad actually happen? What happened? No. She just knew that something bad was about to happen. I gave it everything I had. I thought I was going to die. Oh, but you didn't die, did you? You're still alive, aren't you? I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to die. The survivor described how the terrorist who held her captive, forced her to shower. And after that, he beat and sexually assaulted her at gunpoint. Oh, but we have to go to, so this is not here. She was held in captivity, chained by an iron ankle chain for 3 weeks. The terrorist repeatedly asked her about the timing of her. Okay. So what you see here is not new evidence. It's an old article. It's an old article that you can go and read, where an Israeli woman says about things that admittedly sound really bad that happened to her while she was in captivity, not on October 7th. Okay? Anyway, let's see. Anything else that happened on October 7th? Maybe number what? Number. Do you see anything that implies that it was on October 7th? During the kidnapping. Okay. So 3, forced nudity, verbal and physical sexual harassment, threats of rape. Threats of rape in the form of forced marriage. Okay, so this repeats a lot. The form of forced marriage. So something that they are putting in their document about all the rape on October 7th is that some of the Israeli hostages said that the people who held them in Gaza told them sometimes that they will be married to Palestinians in Gaza, which of course did not happen because they are now back and they're not married to Palestinians in Gaza. It didn't happen. So here is evidence for sexual violence. Someone said to me that I will be married off to a Palestinian, and then, you know, what would have happened is that that in this marriage, the man that I would be married to would have sex with me, and this would have been against my will, so this would have been rape. This is the shocking evidence that they're giving. Okay. So this is the okay. So what do they mean by all experience mapping? Number three. So the footnote is 41. UN Women for All Women, Mia Shem shares horrific moments from being a hostage in Gaza. Okay, I was in a cage with 5 young women. They are still there, abused and exploited. So this is something that happened in captivity. If it happened in captivity. So not on October 7th. Okay, I'm done with this because I went over all of this bullshit, okay? And I can tell you, here is my summary. What this document contains is all kinds of references for articles that were already published in media, in the media openly, in Israeli media mainly, and some of them in the New York Times and places like that. Openly, everything was already known. Nothing new is here. No new information appears here, and actually, no actual information, no actual evidence appears in this document. This document contains zero actual evidence. Okay? What does it contain? What is the vast majority of the 84 pages of this document? Explanation. We do not have actual evidence in this document. Okay, so here are they say all the evidence that do not appear in this document. They say general context of this group. When examining this group of first-hand survivors, one should bear in mind that the vast majority of those who were sexually assaulted were among the 1,166 who were murdered in the attack and therefore silenced forever. So we do not have first-hand testimony. Why? Because they murdered the victims of the rape. How do we know that they were victims of rape? Don't ask. Don't ask. We just know. And the reason that we don't have evidence to prove what we know is that they were killed. So you have to believe us. You have to believe us. Many of those who did survive are likely to be too traumatized to be able to recount their experience. And even those who did survive, they're too traumatized. They can't speak. It was more than 17 months after the attack that a survivor from the Nova Festival was able to recount her experience to us. We have information about survivors. We have information about survivors of direct sexual assaults on October 7th, but we have information. We have it. Okay, show it. Oh, no. But this information falls under professional confidentiality ethical codes. We have information, but we cannot tell you. Unfortunately, we cannot tell you because we're so professional when we're so ethical. In this regard, we recommend finding a means to allow limited access to such information in a manner that safeguards and guarantees the privacy and the rights of the victims so that justice can be done. So what we think should be done is that some people will look at the information secretly and then say, yes, this is convincing information. And based on this information, justice will be done. And this justice is the genocide. This is a very classical Zionist tactic. This is what happens when they take Palestinians into administrative arrest. They take Palestinians into administrative arrest. And what happens is that the Jewish Israeli Zionist judge talks to the Jewish Israeli Zionist lawyer for the prosecution, for the state, and they talk in private, in closed quarters, without the defense lawyer being present. And then they say, look, we have evidence, but the evidence is too sensitive. It's sensitive information because of security reasons. So the judge says, yes, I was convinced by the evidence that no one else saw and that no one else will ever see, including the Palestinian being accused of a crime and including their lawyer. And based on this information, that sometimes they say what crime they're guilty of. They don't even say what crime they're guilty of. And then they say, and based on this information, I say that it's okay for the state to keep holding this Palestinian person under administrative arrest. This is a very common Zionist tactic. Trust me, bro. Like someone wrote in the chat. Trust me, bro. This is their evidence. Trust me, bro. Okay, so I do need to say, like Tamar writes here, the most clear evidence is the testimony of Amit Susanna. She told about sexual assault in captivity. It seems to me credible, but I don't know. It seems to me credible. This is the only case of an actual Israeli woman saying with her name, with her face, actually saying, I was sexually assaulted. Okay? This is why I believe it. But again, this did not happen on October 7th. This happened afterwards in captivity. Okay? It is not surprising that all but one of the testimonies forming this group comes from returned hostages. Based on experience with survivors of everyday sexual violence and other survivors of conflict-related sexual violence, it is reasonable to assume that further facts may still come to light in the future. So, listen, we will have more evidence in the future. You should let us do the genocide now, because later on we will have more evidence. Now we may not have evidence, but later on we will. And so forth and so forth and so forth and so forth. This is what this document is. Explanations for why they don't have evidence. Not evidence, but explanations and excuses for why they don't have evidence. Hold on. I want to read to you one last page from this document, okay? I want to read to you. Let's see. Yes. This is a very interesting part of this document. The boundaries of criminal responsibilities. Interesting. October 7th and genocidal mass attack. Principles of guilt, joint and derivative responsibility, and mass behavior. October 7th and genocidal mass attack. Claiming, of course, that the attack on October 7th was genocidal. What is happening now in Gaza? No, that's not a genocide. What happened on October 7th? Yes, it was genocidal. And what do they say about it? What do they say about it? So I want to read to you responsibility in mass attacks with genocidal intent. What do they have to say about joint responsibility in mass attack with genocidal intent? In this framework we have developed, in which we assert that in cases of mass destruction, annihilation, and genocide, it is legally and morally proper to attribute responsibility for all the crimes committed during the attack to individuals who participated in the attack. Each participant entered a situation in which they acted collectively, thus constitutes a necessary legal conclusion. To understand our legal argument regarding the Hamas terrorists who stormed Israeli communities, the Nova Festival area, and other cases, it is crucial to first outline the indoctrination that underpinned the attack and guided its execution. Okay? Indoctrination. They say there is indoctrination. Where is that? Okay. Where was that paragraph that I wanted to read to you? There was a very Here. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay. No, where was this? Where was this? I'm sorry. I need to find this. Okay. 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 This is it. This is it. Joint responsibility, a legal necessity for an extreme reality. Classical criminal law is rooted in individual responsibility, but extraordinary and unprecedented circumstances demand an adapted legal framework. When crimes mass assault with the explicit goal of genocide, it must be recognized that knowingly joining the attack is in and of itself sufficient to impose criminal liability on all participants for all crimes committed within its line with the objectives of the attack. From the above, we draw the following conclusions. It is not necessary to prove that there was a separate mental element for each individual act. Cognizant participation in the terrorist and genocidal attack demonstrates actual awareness of all acts committed within its framework, or, at the very least, gives rise to the presumption that each participant could have known the mission. Joint responsibility does not contradict the principle of culpability, but rather aligns with it in a manner tailored to the scope and nature of the attack. Autonomy of the will need not be measured at the moment of execution. It can equally be assessed at the moment of entry into the dangerous situation. That is, at the time of the conscious decision to join an attack that was, from the outset, designed to facilitate the commission of grave crimes against humanity. We emphasize that these arguments are not merely abstract concepts of joint responsibility. They lead inevitably to legal conclusion. Those who take part in a genocidal attack bear responsibility for all. Very, very interesting. Because I have been participate in the genocide are partially, at least partially, this genocide, and Israelis and Zionists keep denying their responsibility. Zionists keep saying, no, we're not responsible. It's the government. It's a mistake. It just happened. Oh, it didn't really happen. We didn't know. We didn't understand. Blah, 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 blah. For 20 months, Zionists have been busy denying their responsibility for the genocide in 1,001 different ways. And here is a Zionist document that says, in the most extreme way possible, this is more extreme than I think. Okay, I don't think this. I don't think that such extreme responsibility lies on the shoulders of all soldiers in the Israeli army. I don't think this. But this is amazing that Zionists said this. This is amazing. Why did they feel comfortable saying this? Because they're not talking about the actual genocide that is actually being committed in Gaza by their own military with their support. And as you see, with the actual support of the people who wrote this report, because this report is propaganda justifying the genocide, they're not talking about. They're talking about the supposedly genocidal attack on the 7th, and because now it's Palestinians, because now it's terrorists, because now Hamas, because now the victims are Jews, now we can say that a legal necessity for an extreme reality is that everyone is responsible. If you want an example for the hypocrisy of and the double standards of Zionists, I don't think I can give a more extreme example of hypocrisy of Zionists. Okay, so I think it's pretty clear what this document is. This document is a piece of bullshit, junk, pseudo research whose goal is to create more propaganda to justify the ongoing genocide of the Palestinians in Gaza. It does not contain any actual evidence. It does not contain any real arguments. All it contains is excuses for why we have no evidence, and bullshit and bullshit and bullshit and bullshit. I'm wondering, they wanted their nothing burger to look so professional. Good summary, River. They wanted their nothing burger to look so professional. Yes. It's a nothing burger. Of course, as a vegan, I prefer a nothing burger over a burger that contains the chopped up corpse of a murdered cow, but still. Okay, so I'm wondering whether I have the energy to tell you about the story of Dinah from the Bible. Maybe we will do that tomorrow. Okay, I've been going on for over 2 hours and I feel very, very tired. It's a burger with 0 calories. Yes. So the next time someone tells you about sexual violence committed on the 7th of October, and they tell you, yeah, they raped our women, blah, 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 and this justifies, tell them, please read the most, extensive document that summarizes all these cases of supposed rape and see what's there. And because there's nothing there, we can be sure that there's nothing. Because if there were something, they would definitely put it there. Because they're desperate to prove that there was rape on October 7th. They're desperate to prove that there was systematic rape on October 7th, and they can't do it. They just can't do it. So they write a document that is 84 pages long that contains nothing but excuses for why they don't have any evidence. Tomorrow, the first thing, okay, so I think I will be done here soon because I'm getting very, very tired. But tomorrow, what I want to do is to read to you the story of Dinah from the Bible, from the book of Genesis. And just a small teaser. This is I didn't remember this story. I didn't really know what this story was about. And then yesterday, I opened up the chapter from the Bible and I read this story, and my jaw dropped. Okay, my jaw dropped because this is such an amazing example for how deranged Zionists are. The very fact that the members of this group called themselves the Dinah Project shows how completely and utterly deranged they are, because they are part of the Zionist cult. Okay? So stay tuned for tomorrow. Before I leave, I will just say the things. Please smash that like button, okay? Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Please share this video or other videos that you liked from my channel with people who you think will find it interesting. Please spread the word. If you feel so inclined, if you have a few bucks lying around that you can give to help me continue do the things that I'm doing, you can donate to me on my Patreon. So the Hebrew Canaanite on Patreon. I will put the link in the description for this video, and also I will put the link in the chat. So 1 second. Let's find it, and I will put the link to the Patreon in the chat. It's just patreon.com/Hebrew Canaanite, one word. So if you want to donate on Patreon, that would be really helpful. What else? Stay tuned for the new series that Tamar and I will start soon on Friday afternoon Palestine time, which will be about total liberation, the most important subject of our time, and maybe the most important subject ever. And come back tomorrow, where I will continue the discussion about this Dinah project and read to you the story of Dinah from the Bible and tell you what I think about that. And maybe we will talk about other things. We will see. Thank you, everyone, for being here for over 2 hours. Hopefully, this marks the restart of my activity on this channel. I will try to be more active in the near future, and all kinds of exciting things will happen. And free Palestine, and free the entire planet, and free everyone, all living beings, from oppression. And bye bye, everyone.